Welcome to Hegra, Saudi Arabia. Well, the temperature may be soaring, but I assure you that what you see behind me is no mirage. It is one of hundreds of massive structures carved out of the very rock itself. The fingerprints of an enigmatic civilization that once dominated the richest trade routes of the ancient world, the Nabateans.
2,000 years ago, the Nabatean kingdom ruled from what is now Jordan across the Sinai and into the vast sands of Arabia, a strategic position that made them rich beyond imagination.
Despite their immense wealth and power, the reign of the Nabateans was surprisingly brief before they vanished into history. Today, shockingly little is known about them. Most of their tombs were found empty. Their legendary riches never recovered. So where did they come from? How did they manage to tame these unforgiving deserts? And how did they build these jaw-dropping monuments? The answers may lie at their most famous city, hundreds of miles away in the deserts of Jordan.
Carved into a hidden canyon, Petra is the center of Nabatean power and a place that defies explanation. At its heart is the mysterious marvel known as the Treasury. The most famous facade on Earth is one of the new 7 wonders of the world and played home to the Holy Grail in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Local folklore says it hides the wealth of the city's founders. In reality, though, scholars remain puzzled by its true purpose.
Now, archaeologist Pierce Paul Kreisman has been granted unprecedented access to excavate at the Treasury, a once-in-a-lifetime chance to dig beneath this historic icon. And a dangerous expedition to uncover an ancient inscription may finally shine a light on the origins of the Nabateans. Meanwhile, scientists are using groundbreaking imaging technology to reconstruct the charred remains of scrolls that could decipher the lost fate of this civilization. So choose wisely and join me on an adventure worthy of Dr. Jones himself as we unlock the truth and treasures of the Nabateans.
The past is all around us.
Oh, this is crazy.
A world of mystery.
This is a plane.
Yeah.
Danger.
We are about to be underwater.
And adventure.
It's just straight down.
I travel to the far corners of the Earth to uncover where legends end and history begins.
Okay, let's punch it.
I'm Josh Gates, and this is Expedition Unknown.
Well, I have flown from the deserts of Saudi Arabia all the way to the nation of Jordan. This was once the heartland of the Nabatean kingdom, but their city of Petra is still a ways off.
To get there, it's a 3-hour drive to the south. Okay, maybe 4 hours.
Nabateans probably had a lot less traffic. Amman is something of a mirage because as soon as you clear the capital, Jordan reveals her true nature. Vast, desolate, and absolutely stunning.
After a long drive in 100-degree heat, I've consumed every drop of water in the car and finally approached the canyons surrounding Petra.
There are, of course, no cars allowed in the ancient city of Petra, which means I'm going to have to transfer to a more traditional form of transportation.
Even on the back of a spitting ornery camel, the entrance into Petra is awe-inspiring.
This is the Seek, a nearly mile-long slot canyon whose walls rise almost 300 feet above the desert floor. It offers shade, but more importantly, protection, concealing the Nabateans' grand capital city from the outside world. How well did it work? Well, Western scholars had no idea what was down here until only 200 years ago.
Swiss explorer Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, assuming the alias Sheikh Ibrahim ibn Abdallah, earned the trust of a local guide and gained access to the ruins, making him the first outsider to lay eyes on this.
Look at that. Wow.
This is Al-Khazna, better known as the Treasury. One look and it takes your breath away. A stunning rose-colored facade carved out of the solid rock itself. It has become the emblem of the Nabateean kingdom. Here to welcome me to the site is my old friend, archaeologist Pierce Paul Kriesman.
Pierce Paul!
Josh, always knew someday you'd come walking back through my door.
Oh, even quotes raiders. Last time I saw you, you were trying to drown me.
Not successfully, mind you.
A year ago, he was excavating the tomb of a pharaoh in a flooded pyramid in Sudan, and I was dumb enough to follow him.
Oh, my word.
But finding the remains of a pharaoh in his tomb was just a side quest to his work as the head of the American Center of Research in Jordan, where he and his team are investigating the mysteries of Petra.
The Holy Grail is in there, right?
I mean, but it has to stay behind the Great Seal.
Of course. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade made this place incredibly famous. I mean, if you know Petra, you know this building.
It's one of the new 7 wonders of the world. This is only the tip of the iceberg, though.
Yes, Petra's a lot more than just this building.
Yeah, if you really want to understand Petra, we got to go for a walk and check it out.
All right, lead on.
Time for an all-access tour of the Petra that many never see.
I know it looks like this part of the canyon is empty,
Right?
but if you look closely, every surface has been modified.
All of this has been shaped.
A lot of it's below where we're standing today, though.
Part of this city is buried.
A lot of this city is buried.
Wow.
The valley we're walking in has become choked with sand, burying many of the earliest parts of the city underground. Later generations just built more structures on top.
How many of these are there?
There's more than 1,000 cataloged.
It's insane.
The Nabateans transformed rock into a living city in one of the driest places on Earth. Construction on Petra began in the 4th century BC. Over the next 300 years, the city grew from desert outpost to engineering marvel, home to as many as 30,000 people. Yet by some accounts, only 15% of Petra has been excavated, and the people who built all of this are virtually unknown.
So if I'm being honest, the Nabateans are a mystery to me.
Join the club.
They are a mystery, right? There's a lot we don't know about them.
There's much more we don't know than we do.
Where do they come from? Let's start with that.
I'd love to be able to tell you.
Where do we think they come from?
We think they came as a confederation of what we would think of as tribes today from the northern Arabian deserts.
Right, so when the Nabateans come on the scene, who were the big players?
So around the Nabateans in their early history, it's the Greeks, Alexander the Great. And then you've got the Romans coming after that, you've got the Ptolemies in Egypt, and you've got a couple of Mesopotamian civilizations.
And right in the middle of all of this, out in these deserts, are the Nabateans.
Yes. The Nabateans are a desert people. They have mastered what it is to cross them, to live in them, to be around them.
Yeah.
People just can't come into their home and do what they do.
Right.
So the Nabateans, they're the highway of the ancient world. And when you want to move things like the frankincense, the myrrh, who are you going to call?
The Nabateans.
Obviously.
The Silk Road and Incense Road, which moved the most valuable goods in the ancient world, both ran right through here. In fact, every major trade route from the east to Greece, Rome, and Egypt crossed this desert.
So these guys start out like long-haul truckers.
Yeah.
They're like the Teamsters of the ancient world.
Yeah, they start off independent contractors.
Right.
And then they get organized.
They are the Teamsters.
Yeah.
And we see in all of this construction, they must have ended up really wealthy.
The numbers that are thrown around in the ancient text are like monopoly money.
And money, even in ancient times, means power. Power that we see reflected here at Petra, where the Nabateans somehow carve all of this, borrowing architectural and artistic elements from all their trading partners, Greeks, Romans, and Egyptians, to impress upon anyone who visits, we are important. And impress they did.
Huh. And they have a theater.
They do indeed.
Wow.
Exhibit A, an 8,500-seat Roman-style amphitheater carved into the bedrock itself.
You know, when you think about desert-dwelling people, you think about nomads, you think about a simple way of life, this kind of humble way of life. This communicates something very different.
It's not that.
Right. This says art, this says culture. There's writing and performing, singing. This is sophistication.
Yeah, the mathematics to build all this in the first place,
Right.
to understand the geography.
Sadly, I don't remember any great Nabateean plays.
Not a lot of Nabateean writing survives.
And this is the problem. With the exception of a handful of inscriptions, the Nabateans didn't exactly leave us their biography. And it isn't just writing that we're missing. Many of the small caves cut into the canyon are, in fact, tombs. But every single one of them is empty. No bodies, no offerings, no relics. Nearly all of the structures here are mysterious, like the so-called Great Temple, which may have actually been a palace.
Okay, so when does this get built?
So this is associated with the reign of a king named Aratos IV.
Right, he's like one of the big kings,
He's
right?
the big king.
He's the guy.
He's the guy. He's the great builder here. The apex of Nabateean civilization is considered during this guy's reign.
King Aratos IV ruled from 9 BC to 40 AD, a fairly busy time in this corner of the world. In fact, he's mentioned twice in the New Testament. But Nabateean kings may have been viewed more as administrators than royalty. According to folklore, they walked freely among their people. This modesty may explain why no confirmed royal Nabateean tombs have ever been found.
So Aratos is associated with the most famous constructions here,
Yes, and he's also associated with the most famous structure here at Petra, the treasury.
where we started.
But it's a bit of a mystery, and that's actually what we're working on right now. So let's go up and I'll show you.
Back to the beginning. Okay, here we go.
After all the stuff we've seen and all the stuff we've already talked about, in a lot of ways, this is the biggest mystery of Petra.
Which is crazy because it's the most famous thing here. Like, how can this be the biggest mystery? It's the postcard.
It is, but there's just so much we don't know about it.
Start with this. Why is it called the treasury?
So this is called the treasury because of basically urban legend. The story is that this was a pharaoh's treasure chamber.
But this is a myth, a legend.
This is a legend.
Right. Okay, so what was it for?
You look around and even just look directly at it, and it gives you a lot of hints.
Okay,
Castor and Pollux.
the two figures here and here.
Yes.
This is the Gemini twins. These are the half Roman twins.
And they accompany the dead. And then you see there's a lot of urns here.
Yes.
Urn is the Roman symbol for the dead.
So maybe this is a grand tomb.
The problem is we've never found any physical evidence inside of the treasury to justify that. There's no name and there's no text on here to tell us what's happening.
Isn't that incredible? All the work to carve this out of solid rock.
Yeah.
No inscriptions left.
Nothing left to us today.
That's right, like nearly all the other carved structures at Petra, no bodies were found inside. They were likely looted in antiquity. Archaeologists don't even know when it was built. They guess it was constructed by and for King Aratos IV around 40 AD, because he had the means to do it. But they can't prove it.
Okay, so how do we unravel the mystery of one of the most famous buildings in the world?
If we're going to understand this place, we've got to get a glimpse at what's under us. And to do that, we need technology.
Got it.
One does not simply dig beneath the treasury. If we're going to put shovel to ground here, we need to be absolutely certain there's something to find. So Pierce has called in another old friend.
I think you know this fella.
Dickie Bates.
Josh, how you doing?
How are you, brother?
Good, mate.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Richard Dickie Bates is a geophysicist with the University of St. Andrews. He and I have worked together for a long time. Some might say too long.
We wanted to bring in the best. Instead, we got
Unfortunately.
Bates.
We both went after you. I'm sorry.
Everybody wants me. Bloody hell, what did I do?
I'm just kidding. I'm only joking because you know that you're so damn good at this. Okay, so what's the plan? Geophysics, I assume.
Yeah, GPR, or ground penetrating radar, picks out between, in this case, rock layers and then empty space, void, beneath it. And we're going to see what it shows.
And if it shows something,
Well, then we'll get our hands dirty.
okay, should we scan?
We'll scan.
Into the treasury.
This is huge.
In the ruins of Petra, one of the new 7 wonders of the world, we have exclusive access to scan with ground-penetrating radar inside the iconic building known as the Treasury.
Look at the size of this room. Oh my word.
Scale.
It's incredible.
Unlike Indiana Jones, we don't have to spell Jehovah as we walk in. Instead, the inside is comprised of a soaring but empty chamber.
This is one of the most mysterious rooms in the world because you see all these carvings, these little alcoves, and you just wonder, what did this used to look like? We've got these other weird clues here. Were these for doors?
Yeah, so this is his first set of hinges. They go all the way up. You can see the joints in the top.
Magnificent.
Can you imagine? But nothing was ever found in here.
If it was found in here, it was so long ago that memory has lost it.
Yeah. There are a series of booby traps and a Crusader knight in here, right?
Absolutely, but that's in the back.
Oh, it's in the back. All right, come on, let's scan it. Let's see if anything's down here.
We scan the entire room, running the GPR over every square inch, hoping the radar will reveal a void beneath, a target that might explain the purpose of the treasury.